Thank you all for joining me. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a twisted wire bracelet. It is a gorgeous little design which is incorporating some round gemstone beads. That's what I'm going to be using. We also need some 0.9 millimeter wire, a 0.4 millimeter wire, a lobster clasp, an extension chain, and a couple of jump rings. And I also have a nice little bead spider charm, which I'm going to add on as well. This particular design, it's called our Helix bracelet. The nice thing about it is that we're going to be wrapping the thinner wire around our beads to almost encase them a little bit. It just sort of adds this nice sort of wave look almost to each of the beads, which it's going to have two of those little rows of wire across each bead, which you can have them on complete opposite sides of the bead, or you can have them closer together, whichever way you prefer. It's up to you. I'm going to show you how to do both. Now, something that's a little bit different about this week's kit, because we always do a kit with our videos. This particular week's kit, I've done it a little bit more differently because we have so many different gemstone options for you guys to choose from that we have made our product a little bit, I don't know, we'll see. Let's get into it. I'm going to show you how it looks on the Bead Spider website, just because it's different from how we've done any of our products in the past. So I definitely want your feedback in the comments about what you think of this style of product, where it gives you the option to choose your gemstone rather than being forced into it's either this color or this or this. You can get your own choice. I think there's 48 different options of gemstone to choose from. So anyway, if we just pop on over to the Bead Spider website, here it is. This is www.beadspider.co.uk. If you've never been to our website before, that's how you can find it. This is what our homepage looks like today. And we're going to be making this gorgeous Helix gemstone bracelet just here. If you just click View Now, it'll take you directly to where the product is. And you can see just here on the right side, create your bundle, which essentially just is you getting to choose your own gemstone. You can see this is what the actual piece looks like itself. Over here, you can see it on as a finished design. So that's the same as usual. But in this particular instance, you get to choose which one of your beads you like best. There's a base price just here, and then whatever gemstone you choose will just alter the price. So up here, you have your option to choose how the beads are sorted. So by default, they are sorted by color. As you can read just here, they're all sorted by color. But if you want to change that, you can just click on this and you have options, which for some reason it's not showing on the screen, but you can sort by popularity, price, low to high, and whatever, which I'll show you. For some reason it's not coming up, but if we look at the default, I'll put it to price low to high to start with. It'll just load for a second, and then you can choose your option. And for some reason, that's also not showing. But anyway, there's a big list of 48 different gemstones. It just does not want to show on my screen for some reason. You can just pick the one that you like. They all have their different prices. You click on it, and it will go, great, you've selected this particular color here, and adds that amount to that standard base price. So if you want to get a more expensive gemstone, you can also just choose one, whichever one that you like. There's these lovely black banded agate ones here. There's some labradorite, for example, if you like those sorts of beads just here. But you can see it shows you a little photo of what the different one looks like, and then just changes the price according to your gemstone selection. So for some reason, I don't know why it wasn't showing the little pop-up on the screen there, but hopefully you'll be able to manage it. So anyway, obviously, of course, you can change your currency here. So if you're in the UK like me, you can just change it there if you want to do it manually. Otherwise, it should just do it automatically for wherever you are. And then when you choose your gemstone, it will say, okay, there's the one you want. Add it to basket, and it will just add that base price for whichever stone you choose. So let me know what your thoughts are on that particular concept of how the actual product itself works, that there's a big old list. You'll have to go and check the link in the description there. It'll take you straight to the page where you can have a look at all the different options, but I want to know your thoughts on that sort of product, and if I should do more of these ones where you almost have mega flexibility to say, I want this color and I want this color and I put this with this and so forth to try those sorts of things out. That's what I'm interested to know. So comment in, tell me what you think of the concept of being able to choose from a whole plethora of options rather than just how we usually do it, where it's like, here's color 1, here's color 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, Let me know. So anyway, if we have a little look at the actual finished design just here, I'll move these gemstones. I'll get a few bits out of the way so that I've got them here on my table. But you can see this is what I've made this one nice and small because it is Maxine sized. And you can see it creates this gorgeous little bracelet like this just here. And you can see it has these fantastic little wires wrapping around. You can see I've done it so that the two are near each other rather than on opposite sides of the beads. But I will show you how to do both. And then, of course, you have your lobster clasp there, which just comes on and off. You can choose to put on an extension chain if you want to, but if you've made it to exactly your size, you probably won't need it. But then essentially, it just sits on your wrist like this just here. But the great thing is that if you're going to get the kit, it makes 2 of these bracelets, so you could stack them. Or if you wanted to, I'll put some of the free instructions that we have that would work great with this. We were chatting about it before the stream here with, I was chatting with Stephanie, who works here, about what other things you could do. I'll put some of the free instructions that you could do with this as well. Like if you wanted to do it with leather wrap, for example, we have a tutorial on that. And also like the Shambhala style with square knots. You could use extra beads from that if you wanted to stack them in different styles rather than making 2 the same. But anyway, I'll show you how we're going to make this one. But first, seeing as that's what we do on this, because we are live, let's say hello to a few people. Let's see who's here already joining us and commenting in. Now, David Rolfe, as per usual, was first cab off the rank, and he says, hello from sunny Harold Wood, Greater London. Yes, I have a window open for fresh air. Welcome back, David. We have Madonna in Buffalo, New York. Amber is here. Stacey Bailiff is here in Ohio. Another one of our regulars. Robin Burness, though. Hello for the first time, Robin Burness from Australia. Well, welcome all the way from Australia. It must be very, very late at night, maybe 2 in the morning or something for Robin. So very nice of you to stay up late and to join us, Robin. Who else is brand new, by the way? Comment in and say hello so I can give you a shout out. We have Marlena in Nashville. Lots of people telling me I have no audio. Trish Ryan is here. We have Carol Clark. Ida Hobbs is here from Texas. We have SLA Armitage. I'm not sure who you are, but welcome. Jane Ellis is here. Christine Baines over on Facebook. We have Mary from Norfolk. Monica Chadom is here from Borneo Island, if I remember correctly. She's one of our regulars. Welcome back, Monica. Thank you for joining us. We also have Eugenia, who's here from New England, maybe, I think. So welcome as well. She said she was waiting for an hour and then missed the beginning. Well, luckily for you, you missed the part where I forgot to turn on the microphone. Here we go. And Sandy Eastalamas, who is here from California as well. And then we have Johnny from New Mexico. Welcome. Thank you very much. And then we last one just popped in. Nancy, I finally caught you again from Annville, Pennsylvania. Well, thank you all for joining me. Don't forget, of course, comment in. Let me know what you think of that style of product where you can just choose endless number of gemstones. There are, I think, 48 different options to choose from. So they start from, I think the cheapest one works out at £8.95 to make 2 bracelets, which this is one of those 2 just here using this lovely flecked mica. Otherwise, if you wanted to make it really expensive, we have a gorgeous, it's like a AAA grade ametrine, really rich purple, which I think is somewhere in the region of like £70 or something. But anyway, I have a few different bead options here just to show you this particular design can be made with 10 mil beads or 8 mil beads. So these are just a few of the different ones which I have here, which I think are very, very nice little beads. This is the one I'm going to demonstrate with, seeing as I've already made one, just to prove to you that we can make 2 gemstones from the one strand. I'm going to use the remainder of this strand. You can see I've got all these beads left over from having already made one bracelet. So there's going to be plenty left over, maybe even for earrings. But yeah, look, there's some. This one is rhyolite, a nice Australian stone. You can use this. You can see they're perfectly round, 8 mils. If you want to have a look, this is what our peach moonstone looks like. It's this gorgeous sort of, it looks a lot browner on the monitor maybe, but it's a really lovely peachy color. It's gorgeous. This is possibly one of my favorites. It's a really rich reddy bead rather than how brown it looks on this. So it's a very, very lovely bead. We also have some aventurine, which these ones have facets. No problem. If you've got facets, it doesn't matter. If you've got slightly larger beads, 10 mil, don't worry about it. These ones are ruby in zoisite. So why it's called ruby in zoisite is because if you have a look, this just here, see all these flecks of pinky reds and so forth? That is natural ruby. And then ruby is encased inside of this green zoisite. So when they can't get enough large chunks of ruby to make it to single beads, they keep it in its original sort of form and polish it up so that you've got this lovely contrast between the green of the zoisite and that pinky reddiness of the natural ruby color. Very, very interesting. This one is called rhodonite, which again is a lovely sort of pinky tone. And then we also have, which this one here is a mixture. It has amethyst, rose quartz, and then rock crystal as well, all together. So if you wanted to make one that was multicolored, this one is a great one. And if we have a look at the actual facets, look at that. Each one of those beads, extra spectacular. And the good thing is you can just go and choose whichever one of the gemstones takes your fancy. It doesn't matter. They will all work just fine. So anyway, now, welcome, by the way, to, it says Toby, I think, from the Netherlands. It says Felka Toby. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So anyway, as I said, I'm going to use the remainder of this lovely fleck mica, which you can see on these beads. See how it has this almost like iridescence when it moves? See that? So that's the bead I'm going to be using here. It also has these gorgeous black flecks. So if you want something that will go with everything, sort of like a nice evening wear piece, which, as I said, because you're going to make 2, you could double stack them. This is a lovely stone, and it is one of the cheapest options, I believe, where it works out £8.95 or about $12.20, something like that, to make 2 of these bracelets. So if you make jewelry to sell, this is a good little design for you because it's very industrious in terms of usage of your beads. So first things first, we're going to need a couple of tools. So as per usual, I have my Bead Spider tool set. I'll just put my gorgeous gemstones slightly out of the way for now. So from our tool set, today we're going to be working with, you can use the wire straighteners if you want. The round nose pliers are a must. We're going to need those to create the loops at the ends of our bracelets. You can use some gripping pliers if you feel you need them. A pair of cutters will work very, very well. This one is only optional. You probably don't need this one. The cutters you will need. And then, as I said, the wire straighteners, again, they're optional, but I'll pop them here and we'll see if I even need to use them. Probably not. So anyway, first things first, what we're going to do is grab ourselves we've got 2 thicknesses of wire. So if I zoom on in, you can see this is going to be the base of our piece just here. If I grab my other piece of wire, you can see the difference between the 2 thicknesses. This one is 0.9 and is very, very stiff and firm and gives us a really firm structure. And then this one here, which is much, much finer, is our 0.4 millimeter wire, which we're going to be using to do our helix wrapping. So you'll need 30 centimeters or about a foot, 12 inches of the thick one. You could probably get away with a little bit less if you wanted to. And then you need about 1.5 meters of the finer 0.4 millimeter wire, which I'm sure someone in the comments will comment in and tell me the gauge that is of the two, because I never for the life of me can remember which gauge is which. So if you know what gauge 0.9 millimeter wire is and what gauge 0.4 millimeter wire is, comment them in so I can let everybody know. So as I said, we only need about 30 centimeters of the thicker wire. So you can be relatively approximate, about a foot's worth. So then just grab your cutters and cut the wire to that length. And essentially what this is going to be, as I said, the base structure that's going to go around with the beads on top of it. So once we've got it, let's just make it relatively straight like this. And I'm going to just about 2 inches or 7-ish centimeters from the end, I'm going to just give that a little bend, which it's soft enough that you can do it with your fingers, but if you want to, as I said, they are optional. You can use your gripping pliers here and then just bend it to a 90-degree angle, like so. But as I said, it is soft enough. You can do it with your fingers. It's up to you. But either way, that is essentially what we're going to need to begin. We're going to start by making our first little loop piece. So if you have a look on my finished one, it's this little section here with this loop at the top, and then there's like a coil around the bottom. So what we'll do is grab ourselves. This is going to be, I'm going to show you the basic option first, and then I'll show you the slightly more advanced option afterwards. We're going to stick our round nose pliers inside of that loop. So it's sort of gripping it there, like this, see? But the thing is, because we want our loop to be relatively large, we need to use sort of towards the end of our wire. If we're down here, we'd only end up with a teeny-weeny little loop, which is probably too small. So let's go somewhere towards the end, like this, just here. And so see, if I just hold that upright, you can see we've got a nice 90-degree angle, and we've got this little loopy bit right in the nook of our wire just here. And I'm going to hold this in a really awkward way for me, but hopefully it will make it as easy as possible for you guys to see exactly what I'm doing. Now that we have it like this, we're going to just bend this wire, which you can use the other pliers if you want to help you, but otherwise just use your fingers. Bend this wire down and around until it's pretty much in line with the other one, like that just there. And you have this kind of shepherd's hook look about your little loop just here. Once we've done that, because you saw how my pliers were like this, we need to adjust our pliers slightly so that this little one, this bottom loop, bottom side of our plier is inside the loop, and this top one is sort of out of the way from us. So if I just lift my shepherd's hook off, I'm going to put it onto the other wire like that just there. And now see how the two wires are down here at the bottom? I can now sort of rotate them and wrap them around this little piece just here. So this is now out of the way. So I can cross it over like this and make it into like a nice sort of right angle just there like that. See that? So this is just coming over the top. And now if I just grip this nicely, which again, if you prefer to use your gripping pliers, you can do that instead. But at this point, we're going to just twist these two wires around each other like so. And if you try and do it so that it stays nice and close to the loop before, you'll get this very clean, very neat little loop just at the head forming just here. I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. So try and keep it nice and close, nice and firm. One more wrap I think will do. And because it's quite thick, you can see it gives us this lovely, thick sort of wrap just here. So once we've done that, you can see we've got our loop at the top. We've got these nice little coil shape here at the bottom. And then this is just sticking out towards the side. So at this point, you can also just use your fingers or your pliers up here to sort of push it up a little, sort of push this down a little to get it a little bit closer, the coil work. There we go. Just so it's nice and neat and there's no gaps in any of the coil and it's looking nice and clean. What do we think about my coil, ladies and gentlemen? No gaps in there. Maybe it's not the straightest, but it's okay, I think. But anyway, it'll do for a live tutorial. Obviously, you can improve it if you want to. We're going to just bring in our cutters just here and cut it as close as we can to our coil. See that just there? So just cover it over, of course, so that when you cut it, this little piece of wire doesn't go flying and fling you in the eyeball or anything like that. We don't want that. We practice safe jewelry making around here. So there we go. You can see we've got that little loop, but look at that. It's sort of sticking out like a little burr. We don't want that because it's rough and can catch on things. So grab your pliers and just come on in. You can use the round nose pliers if you don't have the gripping pliers. But just come on in and press it into place like this. Sorry, that's just gone a bit blurry. I'll zoom out a touch. Just press it into place like so until it's tucked in and now is super neat and doesn't feel rough anymore. It's completely blended in and you would never know that we had a rough little burr there ever before. See, this is the start of our little piece just here. See how I've got, this is a little tip, which I'll show you. See how there's a tiny little bit of a gap just here between this and this? You can use your gripping plier to just push that side down a little. It makes it a little bit flatter, but that will just get into position nicely if you really want to get it sitting super duper neat. So it's up to you, but with a little bit of work, you can get it just a little bit more closed and nice and neat. So anyway, once you have it at this point, what we're going to do, I'll zoom back out. We're going to start threading on our gemstones. So now for an average sized person, 20 of these beads is probably more than enough. So just make your choice of gemstone. As I said, I'm going to use these flecked mica. I think I can tell you exactly what they're called if I just have a look on the website. They are called, give me 5 more seconds. It should be nice and easy to find. Snake Eye Jade. No, that's not that one. It's the other one. Flecked Micanite. I was right. So if we have a look, it's, if I just pop back to the website very, very, very quickly, just to show you all. There it is, just there. Flecked Micanite, only £4.50. You can see if I zoom in, hopefully. There, you can see this is the bead that we're going to be using right now. It only adds £4.50, so £8.95, and it makes 2 bracelets. Okay, so yeah, let's continue back on now. And at this point, let me just undo this little knot that I've put in it when I made my first one. And basically, we're going to just thread these directly onto the end of our wire here. So it does not take very long. You can take them off one at a time if you want to and just thread them on as you see fit, or you can just pop them onto a little bead mat or something like that to get them into nice little pile that you can then just pick them up as you go, as you see fit. So there we go. That will do me. Let's just grab them now one at a time and just thread them straight on. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one had a nice shiny bit. Look at that. Where'd it go? It was on there. There it is. Look at that one. Look how much that one shines. That one's nice. So yeah, the Flecked Micanite, this one's called. Let's just keep threading them on. The handy thing is, if you want to test the sizing, you can do it right now. So just thread them all on. As I said, probably 20 is going to be a fairly average size to start with. And then once you've got that, you can sort of test the sizing and then add and replace more or less as you see fit. So if we have a look, how many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's go with a few more I'm going to need. 14, 15. The cool thing is, this is a very quick design to make. I'm literally going to make the entire thing from beginning to end, including all of my chatting away and just, faffing that I generally do on my streams, and we will get the whole thing done. I reckon if you were really quick, you could probably get the whole thing done in like 20 minutes. So if we have something like this, you can test it. So if you just bend it like this at the end so that the beads don't fall off, you can give it a little test and wrap it over yourself like this and like this. And you can see that I'm probably going to need a few more beads on this one, I think. This is not quite going to be enough for me yet. So I'll get a few extra. I probably only need about 2 more to make it to my size. So let's go 1. And I made a little burr where that corner is, of course. So this is where you might want to use your wire straighteners to just come on in and get that little curve out of it where I bent it. Last one. There we go. And now at this point, we're going to add the second side of our piece just here. So once again, we're going to use our round nose pliers and we'll make the second side of our design. So stick your loop into here. This space of the plier is going to be useful for us a bit later on. So use it like this and make your bend at that point just there. See? That's going to give us a little bit of space for our wrap loop, but also for a bit of space between each of these beads when we do our helix work. So if you want, you could even leave a little bit more space than this, but this will probably do for now. So once again, we're going to put this inside here, wrap it over like that, then put it into the other side of our plier, and we'll cross it over now. And I can, if I get it nice and high up, I can just twist it round the other until we have a perfect, nice little loop, which now that it's already done, I can take my plier out, or you can use your gripping pliers like this if you prefer to hold it like that to give you something to grab against. And we will just twist and keep it all nice and close together and twist once more. And let's just cut this. You can see I haven't done this one nearly as well. So you can just push them up, play with the pliers, use the pliers to get the gaps out of the wire, like so, to compress them all together, squeeze them a bit neater if they need to. And then we're going to just cut off that tiny little bit left over, like so. And we still have a bit of space, which is good. We want the space. Don't worry about that. The last thing we need to do is just squeeze this down. And that's going to give us the other side of our loop. And we can sort of just position this if we want to. But we'll come back to that a bit later on. This is going to be very, very good. So now if we have a look, we can see that the size is pretty good for me. The wire being firm is also helpful. So it'll be a little bit like on the looser sort of side, which is handy, to be honest. You don't want it too tight. So Kay, now here we go. Kay says, hello, Matt and chat. The 0.9 wire is 19 gauge and the 0.4 wire is 26 gauge in American. So yes, 0.9 millimeter, 0.4 millimeter, or 19 gauge and 26 gauge. So now at this point, we're going to start using our slightly finer 0.4/26 gauge wire. And we're going to wrap it around. It doesn't matter which end you start with. Either one is perfectly fine. And we're going to just wrap it around the base here. So we'll start just at the base of this little loop just here. And we can give ourselves a tail of about 6 centimeters. And sorry, we'll put this just at the base of that little loop just there, hold it in place, and we're going to try and loop that just a couple of times around this little loop just at the top. So we're doing it around this upper loop. So see that? Just a couple of those little wraps, and that will do. That is now secured, and I can just cut that little bit off. And again, I'm going to do these at the end. I'm going to sort of fix these little bits where they stick out just a tiny bit. See that? See how that's just sticking out just that tiniest little bit? You wouldn't want your skin to catch on that or anything. So do you know what? While I'm here, I'm looking at it. Let's just do it so I don't forget about it. Squeeze it in with my pliers. And now look at that. That little burr is now gone. And our little wrapped wire is looking very nice. So at this point, you can keep your work straight or bent, whatever is your preference. But we're going to start doing our first row of wrapping. So if I zoom back on out so you can see what I'm doing, our wire is coming out over on this side. You can have it coming out on that side. It doesn't matter at all where. But essentially what we want to do is hold it so that it's going diagonally across the bead. Pinch it with your hand, between your thumb and index finger. And we're going to take this wire, which it can be a little bit awkward at the beginning, but we're going to take it into this gap. So if we have a look just here between these two beads, and we're going to just pull it nice and tight like that there. Then we're going to slide that bead up. Now, at this point, you can do them as singles if you want to, but if you want it to look like what I've done with this one, how there's almost like it looks like tiny little beads between each one, just because they're separated. From a distance, it looks like tiny little spacing beads. You can wrap around an extra time if you want to. It's not necessary. It just gives it a little bit of spacing between each bead if you like it like that. Not a necessity, though. So I'll show you how you do it with just the single on this particular one, I think. Then we're going to take it diagonally across. So you can sort of try and match the angle of the bead previous. Diagonally across, hold it in place, take it around that little middle core part just there, and slide up the next bead. Then over the top, hold it in place. Is this easier than you thought than you thought it would be? It's a really, really simple design. Looks like Jermaine has joined us. She says, I have a bit of internet. She's watching from, where are you now, mother? Must be, I think they were in Phuket last time. They're on a round-the-world cruise. So anyway, pinch it in place. I'll zoom in a little so you can see it a little bit better. Pinch it in place and give it a wrap. Take the next one over the top, pinch it in place, and give it a wrap. Then the next one again, pinch it in place over the top and just a single wrap. Slide the next bead up, pinch it in place over the top and wrap. Hold it in place and wrap. And as you get the hang of it, you will be doing them very quickly. And you'll see, you know how I told you it's a really quick design? Well, look at that. We are doing this with no time wasted whatsoever. I'm just keeping a nice firm tension with this hand here, pulling hard in that direction to try and keep it nice, but also pressing hard with this finger. If you look, I've probably got like a dent where I've been pressing so hard for the wire, just like that, because I want to make sure that this 0.4 wire is tight. See, there we go. And the next, and the next, and the next. And remember how we had that space at the beginning that we wanted to get rid of? Well, lo and behold, we don't have that space anymore. It's taken up by our little bit of spacing by that wire from each one. See, isn't that easy? Makes it so quick. So David says this wrap makes them look expensive, but it's very easy. You're absolutely right, David. So now at this point, we can just wrap this a couple of times, once, twice around the base of this little loop just here. And now this is the point where you decide if you want it to be a helix or if you want them to be closer to each other or further apart, wherever it is. But essentially what you want to do now is turn your work over. I'm going to work back in the other direction. And so depending on where you want this next row to sit, so if you want it to be completely the opposite side, you can just take it to the other side. If you want them to be a bit closer, so they're going to look, or if you want them to cross over even, you could do that. It's up to you how you want them to cross over. So Jermaine says she's en route to Sri Lanka, but her internet is fading in and out, so she might not be able to comment anymore. But thanks for joining us, Jermaine. So anyway, yeah, if you want to do it as like a cross, because you can do it so that these are on the outside each time, or you can do them so that they're at opposite sides. So I will do these ones as opposites. So we'll do it about here, and we'll just give it a single little wrap, and then do the other one, and a quick little wrap, and then the next. Hold them in place, and wrap, and then the next one. And we're just going to continue around every little bead, and you will see that if you don't get it caught around your beads around the base, it comes together extremely quickly once you've made that base structure. So yeah, I reckon 20 minutes and you're done for your first one. Once you've got the hang of it, you could probably whack these out in 5 or 10 minutes, probably. They do not take long. If you were doing it like, making your jewelry to sell, something like this is great because it is very, very quick. It can be very inexpensive depending on your choice of beads. So, for example, like I said, this one here with the Flecked Micanite, the kit is £8.95 to make 2 bracelets. $12.20, I think it was last night when I checked. Depending on the exchange rate, in case if there's been some major change in the exchange rate all of a sudden, I think it was about $12.20-ish last night. Based on the exchange rate. Welcome, by the way, to Kylie, who says it's 2:40 in the morning in Victoria, Australia. Lovely of you to join us, Kylie. Who else is brand new, by the way? So anyway, once we've finished this, we're going to get ourselves back to this very last little bead. We're going to wrap a couple of times, just like we did before. And then once you are happy with that, we're going to do the same process. And look how much wire I have left. I have so much left over. With that amount of wire, you could, if you wanted to, this is getting into bonus territory now. You could weave back another time so that you have a third wrap if you wanted to. You'd have to check how much wire you have. This is probably enough for doing another whole third wrap, I reckon, if you want to. Which, should we do it, chat? Comment, let me know. Should we do a third wrap or should we leave it at the 2? What do we think? What is everybody's ideas about that? Would you do 2 or would you stick it with just 3? Comment quick because I will I'll either cut the wire or I'll go back and do a couple more. I'll wrap it an extra time. Do you know what? What time is it? It's 3:42. Let's move on. Let's move on. 2 is nice. Says Eugenia. That's right. I'm going to just listen to that. Even though I think 3 could be really fun, because I want to get on and show you how to finish it off, let's just cut this little bit of wire in here. Let's get it nice and tight. There we go. And cut it off with the flat side to your work. Go. And now feel it for like a little rough bit, which it probably will have one. It almost always does. And then just use your pliers. Just go around the whole thing even just to get it really neat, really firm. Now, the advanced lessons is that you do the wrapping first and then you do this thicker one on the outside so that you only end up with the thicker wire showing. But anyway, that's the advanced lessons. Johnny says 3. I agree. I wanted to do 3, but if it had been 10 minutes earlier, I would have. So anyway, you can see now, look, from the top, it's got this gorgeous helix look about it. And if you have a look, actually, some of them, it's closer. You can move them around. You can sort of adjust them while it's on the bead even. So I might bend it the other way because I think that looks really lovely. And let's just pop that up there, pop that up there, pop this one up here, and just slide the beads around until you are happy and you go, do you know what? I think this side should be the outer side. And every one of those beads now, it's hilarious because the thing is, they almost look like they are, each one has like a frame around it and that they overlap each other. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're sort of one ball on top of the other and on top of the other, almost like scales. See, like that? So you can wear it like that, bend it to your wrist shape, get it so that it is feeling good for you, like that there. And then what we're going to do now is just add our clasp, which is the quickest, simplest, and easiest process ever. We're just going to use some jump rings, which I have a few just here, and I have a sneaky little something extra, which I think you will like. So basically we have a lobster clasp just here, which I've got a fairly sizable one because I think it's in keeping with the size of the design. I think a bigger lobster is better. I got a couple of my jump rings to connect them. I also have an extension chain. If you feel you want to have one, it's going to come in the kit, but you can just do it like this if you prefer, if it's to your size. Like if this was going to be for me and I was going to wear it, I could just pop it like this and have it with the jump rings only because I don't need the extra size of the extension chain. But if I was making to sell, I could make it 1 or 2 beads less, put the extension chain on, and you've got 2 inches worth of different wrist sizes covered for whomever wants to buy your bracelet from you. So anyway, very quickly, let's just whack open some jump rings. I'll use the extension chain just to show you. So let's just grab our pliers and open this little jump ring. If you've never opened a jump ring before, you don't open them outwards like this. You slide them open like that because otherwise you ruin the shape of the circle. See, when you do this, how this circular shape changes. But if I do show it to you from the side, it doesn't really change the circular shape down here. It stays the same. And the same effect happens on your jump ring when you open and close it sideways. So that's how you want to do that. Pop that there. Pop on your lobster as well. Make sure you put your lobster on so it's sort of like this part is on the outside of the curve. Otherwise, you will find it terribly difficult to get it on and off. So just do that there. Grab those pliers and close it on up like so. There we go. And that's the clasp added. And now if we wanted to as well, you can see, look, that this is kind of in the wrong direction. See that? We just have to twist this whole thing one time. That way. There you go. And look at that. So now that it's in line with the direction of the beads, based on the shape of my clasp, this will now make this also in line with the shape of my clasp here. See? Handy little bits of information like that are useful. So anyway, so now we'll do the same with this one. We'll just twist it once to get it in line with the beads. There we go. And again, we're going to add on our jump ring, which you can do it just with your fingers if you want to, if you don't want to use the pliers. Pop that on there. Chuck your extension chain on the end as well. The last little link. And we'll just close that up. And there you go. If you want to finish at this point, you can do. And you know what? Funnily enough, by having done that twist, I twisted it the wrong way. And now the lobster is around the wrong way. But hey, no problem. It's a quick and easy fix. Just slide it off. Slide it back on. Fix the jump ring. You can even overlap them a little if you want to. And look, there you go. Lo and behold, a fully finished, ready-to-wear bracelet. But before I do that, I'm going to add on my Bead Spider charm. So my options are I can either add the charm down here at the bottom of the loop, or you can do it at the end of your extension chain just because I think it looks nice. I'm going to put it up here. This one here, I did it on the bottom of the loop with the extension, with the lobster there. But this one, I'm going to put it on the end of the extension chain. So again, we'll use another jump ring. I'm being very lazy and just doing it with my fingers. Whack this fella on here. Pop this onto your last little wire link there and close it on over. And ta-da! Now you have a gorgeous design, which when you come to wear it, you can just, once you've done it once, once you've worn it once, you just shape it to your wrist size. And then see how I didn't need the extension chain, but I put it on there just to show you guys. You can just link. See, look, it would have linked straight to that other jump ring there. But hey, there you go. I'll now have this gorgeous little chain hanging at the bottom. And I can just squeeze this little lobster open, slide it onto my clasp there. And if you have a look, if you need to, you can just play with those wires until they're sitting just the right way. They are flexible, so it will continue to move. There you go. And look at that. There is that gorgeous little bracelet. And if you want to wear two of them simultaneously, you can do that. See, look, there's the difference. These one, I made them with them on opposite sides of each other like a helix. These ones, I put them a little bit closer together just so that you could see them a bit more. So which one do you think looks better? Do you prefer the ones where the wire is on the outer edge, or do you prefer it where the wire sort of comes in? Do you think you would prefer it if it had a cross on the wire at the top of each one so that the wires were crisscrossing each other? Interesting, right? There's lots of ways to do it, and you can wear them simultaneously. Look at that. Doesn't that just look lovely? Anyway, so that is pretty much it for the entire design. It's quick, it's easy, it's simple, it's fun to make, and you can choose exactly which beads you want so that it can be, if you want it to be quite inexpensive, you can use some of the less expensive gemstones. If you want it to be something really, really striking and noteworthy jewelry-wise, you can always use the more expensive gemstones. So like I said, if we have a look on the website, I'll show you our entire range of gemstones if you like. So if we just pop back over to the Bead Spider website, here we are, still on that homepage. Let's go back to, if you have a look up here, beads, gemstones, semi-precious gemstones. You can see our entire range of gemstones. But basically what we have just here, which annoyingly, it's not showing up. Let me just try a little something and see if that will maybe show it. Is that going to work? No. Oh, well. Let's try this again. Okay, if we just sit this here, there we go. If we come on up here, you can choose whatever gemstone you like at whatever price point you prefer, and it will just add this to the base price. So if you don't have any of them selected, when it just says choose an option, first thing to do is choose how you want them sorted. The default sorting just here is by color. So if we have a look, when you click on this button, it will come up with a big list of all the different gemstones at all the different prices that you want to add them. If, for example, you wanted to get that extremely gorgeous peach moonstone, which the camera, you know how I told you the camera didn't really show the color properly? That is the color that my camera is washing out of that gorgeous peach moonstone. So if I show it to you under, do you know what it is? I wonder if this will fix it. It's because, okay, maybe this will fix it. I had the slightly yellower light on my camera. So if we have a look at my thing, the white balance is all wrong. I'm not going to be able to show it to you. That's a shame. But yeah, if we have a look on my thing just here, the difference between the two, they are literally the same bead. It's just because I have a slightly yellow light coming from my light here because I put the wrong light on. Silly. That's why my fingers look almost green. Yucky. This gorgeous bead just here it actually looks like when you have the proper color balance, which I didn't do, this is it here. And there's literally only 3 of them left if you want to go and get that particular one. But yeah, you can literally choose whatever you prefer. If you want to get this lovely light bluey one here, it's only $4.50 on top, so $8.95 in pounds, or in US dollars, I think. Is it still $12.20, or is it like 5p different or something? 5 cents, sorry. Which if we just choose an option, I think this one, same bead, $12.15. It's even cheaper now. There you go, $12.15. Add it to the basket. And then if you see, look, if you want to do it like that, you can say, yeah, add it to the basket, and it will reset, and it will go, yep, we've done it. And then you can go, do you know what? And now I want to do one in the flecked miconite, just there. I'm going to add that to basket. You have another one. So every time you add to basket, there you go. Look, there's the one with the blue celestine. Here's the one with the flecked miconite. And every single time you can go, do you know what? And once I've got the hang of it, I'm going to splash out and get myself something a little bit more fancy. I'm going to get the cream fire agate, which is this gorgeous bead here. It's a little bit more expensive, but there you go. It is exactly the same, and you'll make 2 bracelets for that price. This is not the price for 1 bracelet. This is the price to make 2, just there. So I guess that works out at 9. Ooh, I'm having to do my maths now. Let's see, 9. It's not 9 and 12.5 or something. $9.12.5 per bracelet. You can see I haven't done maths in a while. But yeah, you can just choose whichever one you want. Go check them out. There's like literally, I'm so annoyed that it's not showing you. There's the list of gemstones with, if you can see my mouse, this is like the top of the list is here, and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going all the way down the screen. And I have to like scroll further to choose. Like these ones, labradorite, are a lovely gemstone as well. That adds them in. And they have this gorgeous flecked look about them. But yeah, if you want to check out our entire range of gemstones, we do have many. So you can go here, gemstones, and then up here, semi-precious gemstones. This will just show you all of the different ones that we have. But essentially anything 10 mil or 8 mil round can be used for this design, and you can change your currency to whatever you want. See, look, $19.95 there. These red crackled rock crystals, 8 mil, they're very nice. Ignore the red line. That's just the thread that they come on. They're like a gorgeous, really soft red. The rhodonite, that one, I showed you it. The 6 mil, the 4 mils are surely too small. 6 mils, maybe you could try it. It might be a bit small. I think 8s are better. But anyway, we have a lot of gemstones. If you want to get something fancy, you can also up here in the top corner, you can sort them again into price low to high or high to low. So the cheapest gemstone is £2.75, and the most expensive gemstone is $89.95. But this one's not quite appropriate. This one you could use, though. This is that deep purple. It's a really rich purple ametrine one, where each of those beads has these gorgeous facets. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me for today. Let me just jump back to my face now. If you haven't seen from last week, I'll just jump back to the website. Where did I just put it? Here it is. If we go back to the homepage, this is this week's special. But if you scroll on down, our beaded Easter egg, just here, you can get 15% off when you get any 2 or more of our beaded Easter eggs. And this color is brand new. This lovely sugar plum sparkle netted Easter egg is brand new and is made with our gorgeous microcrystals. You can get any one of them just there. But if you get this is also on discount. But if you come up here where it says 15% off any 2 or more kits, select your options, and you can choose any 2 eggs. So if you fancy the brand new sugar plum sparkle, and maybe you want to get this golden turquoise, whatever, we don't care. Any 2, you can add them to basket, and you get 15% off. If you say, do you know what, I want to get a 3rd one, 15% off. If you want to get this one as well, you'll get 15% off this. If you want to get all of them, they're all going to be 15% off. If you want to get 2 of this one, it doesn't matter. We don't care how you do it. As long as you've got at least 2 eggs, any 2 eggs, they can be 2 the same, 2 different. You can have 10 eggs if you wanted to. You'll get 15% off as long as you do it inside here. So any 2 or more, 15% off. Right. That's it. I'm done. That's today's tutorial done, dusted, and finished. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't done so before, make sure you like this channel, subscribe to the channel as well. Go check out our link in the description to see there's a whole load of different things. If you want to check out the kit, there's a link to that. If you want to check out our website, there's a link to that. If you want to see our Facebook group, there's a link to that. If you want to see... if you want to sign up to our email newsletter and get a free 5-pound voucher for any of our beading patterns, there's a link for that too. So anyway, I am still in the process of going live every second week rather than every single week. So if you come back, not next Friday, but the Friday after, but if you're signed up to the newsletter, we email you to let you know that it's coming and give you the opportunity to set a reminder. But if you haven't done that, I will be back in 2 weeks' time, same place, same time. So if you're watching live right now, whatever the time was 1 hour ago, that's when I'll be going live in 2 weeks' time from now with some other fantastic things. I think it'll be Good Friday, potentially. I'll be here. I will be here. Even though it's a public holiday, I will be here. So we're going to do some jewelry making together then. But there will be some specials between now and then. So always make sure you're keeping an eye on the website because we are doing lots of brand new things all the time, not just when I'm going live. But anyway, thank you all very, very much for joining me. Who do we still have? We have Amber here says, learned a few tips. Thank you, Matt. Kay says, have a great weekend, everyone. Jermaine is still here. She says she loves the design, Matt. Why, thank you. Jermaine is saying that because she came up with the design before she left. Johnny says, that was fun and so quick. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. David says, great tutorial. Kay also said, love the tutorial. Thank you. Sandy, here we go. Thank you for the lovely wire bracelet demo. Enjoy your weekend. Yes, and all of you enjoy your weekend as well. Definitely give me a little comment and say hello after the stream. Let me know what your preferences were. Did you like it with them on the outside? Did you like them together? Would you put them side by side? Would you cross them over? How would you do it? Let me know in the comments down below, even after the stream. So anyway, I'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. But make sure you're keeping an eye on the website for all the fun things that are going to be going on between now and then. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Have a lovely weekend, and bye-bye.